Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to our kitchen. I'm Laura, and I'm here today with Rolando Isais, and he is our food safety specialist here at Festival, and we are talking about a very popular warm weather fruit, which is melons. So when you're in the store, melons can be kind of one of those fruits that are a little bit difficult to pick out.
Right.
A little more difficult than, say berries or something like that. Simply because when they get picked, they don't ripen anymore. So they're picked when they're ripe, and you kind of have to use your best judgment to find a good one in the store, which can be a little difficult and intimidating for a lot of people. So when we're looking at melons, some of the most popular varieties, we've got watermelon, we've got honeydew melon, then we've got cantaloupe. So when you're looking at the honeydew melons or the watermelons, you want to evaluate, number one, the skin. So that's our first S. We've got 4 S's. The skin. So you want to look for a more dull skin, something that's shiny, is not as ripe, so a duller skin is better. You also want to evaluate for blemishes, and when we're looking at honeydew, we want to make sure that it's not really green. So we know that the inside is green, but we want the outside to be more of a lemony yellow flavor. And then when we're talking about cantaloupe, we want to make sure that the skin is more of an orange or golden color, kind of like the inside, versus a green color.
Right.
So that's our first S. We're looking at the skin, also making sure there's no blemishes and that it's just really, nicely intact. Then we have the size. So you always want to pick up your melon, I'm sure, as you know, in the store, and you want to find one that's heavy for its size. So the heavier it is, the juicier it'll be, kind of like pomegranates or things like that. And then we are going to evaluate the sound, which is kind of interesting. So once you pick up your melon, if you can find this stem where it was growing on the vine, and you just tap it with 2 fingers, you want to listen for a nice hollow sound. Did you hear that one? Pretty good?
Yeah, that sounds
pretty
good.
hollow. So then you know it's a good one. And the last S is the smell. So in that same spot where you tapped, you just want to smell it. And if it has a nice, sweet, flowery smell,
oh yeah,
that one smells good.
That one smells good.
This one's a good one. Then we know that it's ripe and it's ready and it's a good melon.
Absolutely.
So those are really all the things we have to look for quality in the store. But something else that's really important when choosing a melon is making sure that it's safe. So what do you have to say about choosing a safe melon in the store?
Yes. Well, there are 2 things that we can do. The first thing is verify that the melons or the produce, including melons that you get, are coming from a reputable supplier or a grower. Now, a program that we have here in Festival Foods is the Days Fresher program.
Yes, and the Days Fresher program is great because it's a great initiative that we can get really fresh produce. We work directly with the growers and the farmers to make sure that we have good relationships, we know where it's coming from, and that it comes through really fast. So it's really only a couple days. It doesn't go sit in warehouses. We get it directly from the farms, which is excellent.
Yes, and the other thing we can do is after we have purchased it, from store to home, making sure that it's not too long, that you keep it in your car, maybe in a warm weather.
Oh, that's especially good to know when it's, warmer out.
Right, try to get it from the store to your refrigerator and keep it about 36 to 41 degrees.
Okay.
What I personally like to do is put it in the crisper.
Oh, okay.
And that is designed to not let it get too cold because of the leafy greens that might get chill damage. So that will work perfectly for melons as well.
That's really good to know. I've always just kind of put my produce in there just because, it says fruits or vegetables, right on in the refrigerator.
Right.
But I never really knew if it did a whole lot, but that's good to know that to keep it in there. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we get it home and maybe we're ready to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So what type of precautions can we take to make sure that there's no cross-contamination? We hear about that a lot with foodborne illness with melons, especially simply because of the skin. So what are some things we can do to prevent that?
So the reason that melons are more susceptible to contamination is because they are grown very close to the ground, in some cases on the ground.
Sure.
So there's all kinds of contamination that's coming from the ground, the water that comes down, whether it be rain or just irrigation. And then you have wildlife that is also interested in, in these melons. So contamination can happen. So what I would like to do here is illustrate how quickly bacteria can spread if we don't wash our melons.
Sure. Okay. I'm very interested to see this.
Yes. So what we have here is a mixture of water, flour, and some food coloring.
Okay.
And it's going to represent the bacteria that could potentially be on the surface of our melons.
Right, and we can't see the bacteria, obviously, but
right.
it is there, and this is going to illustrate that perfectly for us.
Yes. Okay, so we have here a unwashed melon, and we're going to be using a clean cutting board and a clean knife. So I'm just going to cut it how most people tend to cut their melons.
Sure, right. Slice it right in half.
Right down the middle. Now the first move that most people do is turn it upside down. So you already see that there's contamination.
Oh, sure, right on the clean
surface
cutting board that we had before.
That's going to be eaten. Now this cutting is it's probably not the best way, but it's just to illustrate how the bacteria will spread.
Sure, and there's so many different ways to
so many
slice up a
different
melon.
ways, and to each his own. So after we have cut it, you can turn it over.
Oh, we can see all the
and
bacteria.
you can see exactly how much of this has ended up on the edible surfaces. Now, this bacteria may not look like a lot, but it takes very little to get us sick.
Right. So what is the best way then to make sure we wash our melon properly to avoid, getting any of this bacteria cross-contaminated right into our melon?
Right, and there are very many simple ways. My preferred method is running water and a vegetable brush. In addition to those, some people like to use warm soapy water or vinegar. And in some cases, like at our stores, we use a citrus bath.
Okay.
So any of those ways to wash it work just as fine. No one way is better than the other. So it's just a matter of making sure that you do wash your melons.
And I know we do carry those brushes right at Festival, so you can pick up a couple brushes there.
Absolutely.
And we actually have some fresh to try here, so should we try our favorite melon real quick?
Sure.
I'm going to go with the honeydew.
Let me clean off this bacteria off my hand.
Or this is a cantaloupe.
I think I'll try the honeydew.
This is good melon. It's nice and fresh. If you'd like any of this information, Food Safety's got great blogs on our website, and we also have produce blogs. So you can head to our website at blog.festfoods.com. Thank you for joining us, Rolando.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.